ॐ स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतारवरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः।
Friends, welcome back to the study of the Bhagavad Gita, and we had been revising and re-revising, or summarizing and re-summarizing. And I have defended myself by telling you why so. Because these ideas are so uncommon in our day-to-day life, it is better we make it a habit of repetitiveness, and it forms a part and parcel of our nature. A habit forms a second nature, and that second nature saturates your whole personality. And that is what we learned in our last discussion. Let me share with you a bit of conventional thinking. I am an old fossil of 95. I never knew about computer and online transmission and all that, though I enjoy the news in the TV and all TV channels, but I didn't know that it can be made use of thanks to the pandemic. And now what happens? I listen to what I have said last time so that I can keep a link of what I have ended in last time and what should be the starting point today. In the last discussion, we tried to make it easily understandable about Acharya Shankara's a very, very famous, universally acceptable sentence. And as you know, sentences are collection of words, very properly arranged, subject, predicate, verb, and so on. So it explodes into an idea, and that is a philosophy of grammar, Spotavad. In Advaita Vedanta, we have Nirguna, Nirakara, Nirvikarpa, Brahma as the absolute substratum, and Mahamaya, Adya Shakti, Parama Prakriti, call it by any name, the source of primordial cosmic energy remains hidden there, and it manifests. As Sri Ramakrishna used to say, when a snake hibernates in winter, it is almost dead. But in that hibernating snake, the potential activity of the snake remains hidden, remains in a nebulous state. When the hibernation is over, the snake is active and violent again. Energy is now manifesting. Similarly, Nirguna Brahma, because of this Adya Shakti Parana Prakriti, becomes a Sagura Ishvara, and that creates the whole world. This is what we have known. Now we see here, in this section, there is a word known as Spotavad. It's a philosophy of grammar. Spota means that which explodes. Each and every word has a capacity to explode into a meaning, an idea. Shabda tasya artha. A word has its meaning. Meaning is an idea which the brain only has the capacity to explode. So, we are exposed to certain words, and the words explodes into an idea. We catch on to that idea, hold on to that idea, latch ourselves up to that idea. And that idea slowly and slowly saturates our being, becomes a part and parcel of my thinking. Now, what is happening? I think it twice and I forget. Other thoughts come in. Brain never remains empty. Either it is positively active or it is an empty brain, a devil's workshop. The brain is active. The psychologically approach of sadhana is you very intently, determinedly, devotedly, without any interruption, think of something positive. What is that something positive? I am the divine. I have covered myself up with such an amount of deep ignorance of my true original nature. Not only I have forgotten who am I have identified myself with what I am not. My ignorance has gone to such an extent. Coming back to the scripture, especially the Vedanta for a beginner, Ajnana Shakti, ignorance, has two aspects. Avarani Shakti and Vikshepa Shakti. They work simultaneously. What is that? I see something. I'm not sure what it is. The Avarani Shakti, covering up of that ignorance, has covered up the true identity of the rope. I see something, but I do not know what that something is. I see something, but I do not know what it is. It has covered up its original nature. I don't see it as a rope, I see it as a something. And then what happens? Immediately, because of my samskaras, especially the most important sanskara is the instinct of self-preservation. By law of association, the stretch of that something, the diameter of that something, the way it is lying, the shape, the size, the position, and etc., etc., my instinct of self-preservation, out of lot of memories similar to that, the snake comes in. If it bites me, I will die. I have created a snake on that something. Because I don't know what it is, I had an occasion to create something there. Vikshepa Shakti, diversion. Avarini Shakti and Vikshepa Shakti are two aspects of Ajnana, ignorance. This is what the scriptures teach us. What is happening in example? I see something. The law of association and my instinct of self-preservation immediately creates a snake there. The snake is not there. The snake was not there. The snake will never be there because it is a rope. But because of my ignorance of the true nature of that thing, covering up, avarana means to cover up, the original identity is being covered up, and because I have covered it up, I can't live in vacuum. I have projected from my thinking an imaginary snake there. And the snake is so real, created by my Vikshepa Shakti, ignorance. I howl and shout and jump and seek for help till all of you come with lantern and a stick and all that to kill the snake. And having beaten the snake to death, you find there's no animate reflex. If it's a living entity, with that beating, it would have shrunk, it would have crunkled, it would have been wreathing. Nothing happens, it remains like that. You take the light, look deeply. Oh dear me, you made a fool of us, Swami. It is a rope, and you say you see a snake. That is a daily life's occurrence. Now, this is an example. What is it exemplifying? I am the divine. I am aware I am. But the Avarani Shakti tells me, you do not know who you are. But because of big shape Shakti, the capacity of diversity, what happens? I think myself a separate entity. Ahamasmi, ahamasmi, ahamasmi. Separate from you all. I am a world by myself. Atasmin tat buddhi. What I am not, tasmin, not that. What I am not, I think myself to be that. I have created this ignorant existence of mine as a separate Jiva Atma. But my true original nature is Satchidananda Swarup. But I have not been able to understand that. Why? I have covered myself up with thick layers of ignorance. That ignorance has to be wiped out. How do I wipe it out? I use all the techniques in the world to wipe out my dirty mirror. How do I do that with myself? I constantly assert the divine is everywhere. Sarvam khalu idam brahm. The divine is everywhere. I am a part and parcel of this universe, so the divine is in me. Is that so? Do you mean to say, my teacher, I am Atma Pitu Brahma? This what I say, I am, in reality, in its true original nature, is the Absolute. Do you mean to say so? The scriptures and teacher says, yes, you are that. Thou art that, Tattvam Asi. And when I have cleaned myself, that means my attachment to this world, involvement with this world, identifying myself with what I am not, I have washed myself clean, and somebody tells you, the knower of the self, thou art that. These words explode into an idea. As soon as I catch on to that idea, I become one with that. Being and becoming, the process of evolution finalizes, and I become one with that. Acharya Shankara, in his classic Sanskrit manner, as I explained to you yesterday, whatever is a sign and symptom a behavior pattern, a reaction of a realized soul living in this world is, those signs, symptoms, behavior pattern, mannerisms are your goal, your object. That is your laksha. These are the lakshanas, that is your laksha. You have to cultivate those within you. That is why worshipping and praying to the incarnations and various divine aspects of God is prescribed. What are you doing? You're absorbing those ideas and cleaning up the dirt that has accumulated within yourself, the dirt because of ignorance of your true original nature. That is what happens to you. Acharya Shankara says in old-time scriptural manner that whatever are the signs and symptoms, the behavior pattern, mannerism of a realized soul is the object matter of your self-disciplined cultivation. You have to cultivate those within you. Jatna sadhyatva. Because your way of life moves in a different direction. You have to make effort to bring it back towards God. It is moving away from God, egocentric, centering around yourself, egoistically involved in this world. You now bring it back to the divine. Jatna sadhatvat. You have to sweat it out for it. You have to break your back for it. Then only you will be able to reach it. This is how I explained to you last time. Now let me be very modern. What is that modern idea? Modern idea, there are few words, almost in every language. In English, being and becoming. A process of evolution, to be and to become. When we were children, our parents used to say, do good, be good. Don't speak any evil, don't be evil. Don't see any evil, you will not be evil. And you be and become good, a continuing process, being and becoming. How do we be and become? Let us put it in our inner life now. I have studied myself prone to exaggerated statements, which is a lie, which is not true. Exaggerated statement, I am prone to that, habitually. How did that habit form? Probably at one point of time, I want to convince somebody. So I exaggerated a situation. And I found the listener is convinced. So my exaggeration has paid me positively off. Paid me off positively. I gained. So I again exaggerated second time. Willful, repetitive effort. Exaggeration. And after 10 times, that effort almost becomes normal. Why? Willful repetitiveness creates a force of habit. And that habit takes over, and you are in a habit of saying everything in an exaggerated manner. And more you do so, the habit gets stronger and stronger and stronger, and then you become a victim, a slave of your habit. This is how habit forms. So to just theorize it, summarize it, willful, repetitive, intentional performance done over and over and over again creates a force of habit. This is the definition of habit formation. Willful, intentional, repetitive efforts done over and over and over again creates a force known as force of habit. And that force of habit has an effect on you. Ultimately, it becomes so strong that it's stronger than your willpower. A time will come, you are trying not to exaggerate, but your force of habit will make you exaggerate. You have fallen a victim of your habit. This is how habit forms. This is the principle. Now, let me see, how can I make use of this habit formation? I always repeat my mantra given by my Guru, which will lead me to that ultimate goal, realization of oneness with the divine. It is a sound, mantra is a sound. I repeat it, it explodes in me. Whatever the mantra may be, whatever the denomination may be, the essential meaning is develop the habit of thinking oneness with the divine. Develop that habit. How is that habit forming? Repetition of your mantra. The mantra explodes into a meaning. And what is that meaning? He is in me, I am in him. He is everywhere. I am with him everywhere. I am boundless. I am infinite in time. I am infinite in space. I am eternal in time. And therefore there is no mutation in me. I am the absolute reality, the divine. That is what I am. And I have been asked to tell it 1,000 times per sitting. 1,000 times per sitting. That is, willfully, determinedly, repetitively, you are associating yourself with an idea. Idea is remove the concept of separateness and instill the concept of oneness. That habit formation which has bound me down to the world, that habit formation is now being used to get rid of the hold of the world. A bigger thorn is being utilized to pick up the smaller thorn, and when it is picked up, throw away both the thorns. That is how Sri Ramakrishna explained it. A thorn has entered the sole of my foot because I am walking barefooted in a village land. and a thorn has got into my soul. It is painful, I am limping, I can't walk properly, and it is painful. Because I'm a man of common sense, I know the gum acacia thorn, when it is dried, it is as strong as steel and it is big enough to be maneuvered. So I look out for a gum acacia wild tree, break a thorn. With that bigger thorn, I scoop up the small thorn. And when it is scooped up, both the thorns are no more required. A thorn has got into my soul, thorn because of ignorance. Now, with well-thought and well-planned strategy, well-thought, well-planned of action, I constantly remind myself, I am that. And not only I remind myself, when I live in this world, I always interact with the presence of the divine. And I become a part of the divine play. Whatever is happening by divine will, but as because I am used to this egoistic approach, so what do I do? To satisfy my ego in a manner that is in consonance with my sadhana, I pray to God, oh God, all that is happening around me is very, very, very saddening, very agonizing. Please kindly remove all this agony around. Please help us all. You are again being inseparable from the divine with your prayer. Jatna sadhvatvat. Now Hari Maharaj, Swami Turiyananda ji, while explaining this paragraph to one of the students, and I had the great fortune, unworthy that I am, I had the occasion to study at his feet. He told me, Hari Maharaj said to him in English, what is imagination today becomes a realization tomorrow. And in Bengali he said, this domesticated cat which has forgotten how to hunt, being spoon-fed by the master, this domesticated cat, when thrown out of home, will again revive to learn how to feed himself by hunting, because he has to live. Ei biral bone gele bon biral hoy. This cat, which is domesticated today, has forgotten the art to hunt. When you drive him out of this home, he will again revive the habit instinctively of hunting and surviving. This mind, which is a slave of all these worldly habits, when thrown out of this comfortable, convenient concepts of worldly life, will learn to live by identifying itself with the divine. What is imagination today? I will be a Sita Pragya, a man of mature spiritual wisdom. How? Through the process of being and becoming. What is imitation today becomes a realization tomorrow. What is imagination today becomes realization tomorrow. While imitating, you are getting close and close and close to the original. And a time comes when this imitation saturates you with the original and you become the original. This is how you understand it in a commonsensical manner. Now, Arjuna has heard all this. Atma Jnana in Sankhya Yoga. He has heard Karma Yoga, how to convert the flow of life so that the life flows on. You don't run away, you don't behave like a defeatist and escapist. You fight your battle of life in this world, full of demands by the world. But you have learned the trick of the trade to convert your life from karma bhoga to karma yoga. And that becomes a direct and independent means to realization, a process of being and becoming. What is imitation today becomes realization tomorrow. What is imagination today becomes realization tomorrow, because you have taken help of the system known as habit formation. You are now forming a habit to be one with God. Arjuna listens, and as because he is being burned by grief of not knowing what to do and what not to do, and if to do, how to do, Arjuna is in a quandary. He is eager to know. So he asks, Arjuna Vacha, Sthita Pragyasya ka bhasha, Samadhistasya Keshava, Sthitade kim prabhashita, kim ashita, brajeta kim. Kim means how. He says, Sir, I have now understood. You are suggesting some procedure, some technique, some methodology, following which you can become Sthita Pragya, the master of the self, master of the world. What is that mastery of the world? The world with all its trick, bag full of tricks, will not be able to disturb you. What to speak of disturbing you? Will not be able to touch you. What to speak of touching you or caressing you will not be able to reach you. You are far above. You have told me about the concept of Karma Yoga. Now please tell me, how do I assess where I am in this journey? Because as a human, I have a tendency towards self-deception. We always try to dress ourselves up in the best garment to be acclaimed as a wonderful person, not knowing who am I internally. That self-deception, that hypocritical attitude on oneself is a human fault, human weakness, human characteristic. Arjuna knows that. He wants to have a yardstick, a measuring rod, with which he will measure himself, whether he is deceiving himself or not. Not to measure you, to measure himself. And we want to measure others, not myself. Oh, he's a bad man. What about yourself? That measuring rod is being used for others, not for yourself. Arjuna wants it for himself. Sthita pragyasya ka bhasha. Here bhasha means what is the definition. How do you define sthita pragya? Whose wisdom is mature and stable because of his experiencing, knowing one with God, experiencing one with God, not book learning, experiencing. What is the definition of such a man? Sthita pragya, jasya pragya sthita, whose wisdom, whose maturity is rock solid. Nothing in the world can shake him, disturb him, touch him, not even to reach him. He is far beyond. What is the definition, sir? I would like to know for my self-information. Sthita pragyasya ka bhasha. Who is a sthita pragya? Samadhista Kesava. What is samadhi? Samadhi means today I am the thinker, I have an object of thought, and there's a process of thinking which is connecting me with my thought process, with my object of thinking. Triputi, three-cornered triangle. I am, the process of meditation is there, and the object of meditation is there. The mind moves momentarily. One moment is in me, the next moment I am meditating. I am, first moment. Next moment is I am meditating. I am meditating on my God. 3 moments. I come back to me again. Go to the second. Go to the third. It keeps on moving in a fast speed, momentarily. Because of that motion, a sense of continuity is developed. That is meditation. Dharana, dhyana, samadhi. Dharana is to hold your mind on the object. That is your thinking. And you are holding on to it, not for a moment, for a few moments together. Then again it comes back to you, because you are used that way. You are teaching a methodology, you are teaching yourself a procedure where you can hold your mind on the object for a prolonged period of time. And that prolonged period of time is the process of being and becoming. You are saturating yourself with that. And a time comes when you are totally saturated. I am has merged with He is through the process of meditation. The process of meditation stops. The process of I am, that thinking stops. All that remains is He is. I am. He is, I am. You must. That stage of mind is known as samadhi. He is being very clever here, Arjuna. He does not want you to have any other idea of sthita prajna. There are people, I can tell you, I've seen some, I try to become like that. There's a tremendous amount of cause in you to lose your temper, to get angry. But you hold on. You don't express it, but you are boiling like a cauldron within you. Externally, you are sthita prajna, you are mature. But you know internally, you have developed that self-control where you are not a victim of that. Sthita prajna is not that person. Sthita prajna is that person who has experienced oneness with the divine, and thereby he has lost his ego into the world, into the divine, and he is stable. Therefore he says, Sthita prajna, samadhistha sthita prajna ka bhasha. Samadhisthasya sthita prajnasya ka bhasha he Keshava. What is the definition? Next, sthitadhih kim prabhasheta. How does he interact with the people of the world. I know how I interact with the world. My interaction with the world is egocentric, dominating, bossing over, putting everybody under my thumb. That is how I behave. That is how my interaction with the world is. But you say he's one with the divine. So what his behavior pattern? He lives in this wretched world as I do. And I have this behavior pattern and I justify myself. What is his behavior pattern? How does he interact with the people? I would like to know that. Why? I would like to measure myself up. I would like to assess myself, evaluate myself. Where do I stand? Am I still egocentric or am divine-centric? I'd like to start. That's why I want to know for you. Sthitadhi kim prabhasheta, kim asita. How does he live all by himself? Brajeta kim. And how does he carry on with his activities of life? In totality, what is his definition? And who is he? He must be samadhivan purusha, called a sthita pragya, because of his samadhi, not because of his self-control. Vesuvius is blowing within him, but he doesn't show off. That is a type. But a spiritual giant is not that. The Vesuvius has gone down. It is no more effective. It is there, but it doesn't blow. Samadhisthasya, sthita pragyasya, ka bhasha. What is the definition? How does he interact with people? Brajeta kim. How does he continue with his lifestyle? I would like to know in totality, and where else do I have it but from you, dear Lord God of the universe, who have taken a human form to teach us what is to be a sthita pragya, what is to be a samadhivan. This is how this text starts, sthita pragyasya lakshana. This is famous in the Bhagavad Gita. Let us now get into the study. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha. He will answer to these 4 different questions through these 17 or 18 shlokas, 55 to 72. He will answer to them one by one. Let us see, ka bhasha, what is the definition and how do I fit with that definition? If at all I have to be a sthita pragya, how can I fit into that definition? How can I be and become one with that definition? The process of being and becoming, what is imitation today becomes a realization tomorrow. What is imagination today, because of force of habit, saturates your personality and you be and become tomorrow. That. Prajahati Jada Kaman, the first quarter. Second quarter is Sarvan Partha Manogatan. Let us paraphrase it. Hey Partha, hey Arjuna, my dear child, my cousin brother, my aunt's son. That is the relationship physically. But he is an incarnation and he is so-called aunt's son. Hey Partha, Jada Manogatan Sarvan Kaman Prajahati. Let us stop here. Let us not say how many shlokas we have read. Once for all, let it be impregnated in you in such a manner that it stops when it has yielded the fruit. You are planting a seed now. Nurture the seed, cultivate the seed, wait till it fruits. Keep on nurturing and cultivating these ideas. He says, Hey Partha, Jada, as and when, monogatan sarvan kaman prajahati. Sarvan kaman. The whole world of desires that comes in your mind. What is the place of the desire? The desire has the only place to live is in your mind. Your antakarana, your mind. Desire has a very safe lodgement there, and you have opened your house with a welcome board. All and sundry are welcome. Please come and retain here. That is what it is. That is what my mind is. It's an open boarding house. You don't have to pay anything. Come in, all and sundry. Fill me up. That is what my mind is. Sarvan, manogatan, kaman, jada, prajahati. Prakrishta rupena jahati, prakarshena jahati. Pra is a prefix. What does it mean? Prakarshena or prakrishtena. What does it mean? Prakrishta or prakarsha means in totality, without any residue left. That is what prajahati means. Jahati means to throw it out. How do you throw it out? You have a well-manicured lawn. You love your beautiful lawn. You go around every day. Oh, that's a weed. That's not the grass I planted. You sit there, get hold of the weed right from its root, uproot it and see no root is left behind. You don't leave any possibility of that weed to regenerate again. This is prajahati. Prajahana. Prajahana means you uproot your desires from your mind in such a manner that it doesn't come back again to you. Read it and throw it and burn it away. When all worldly desires have been weeded out by you from your mind, and you have thrown them out in such a manner, they don't dare to come back again. Give them a good thrashing and let them go. So they know a thrashing is waiting for them, no welcome. Today you are welcoming. You throw them out in such a manner, they don't dare to come back. So, the first line of a samadhi ban sthita prajna is being defined. A person who, because of his samadhi, has been able to get rid of all worldly desires and is thrown it away from his mind. So if I am totally desireless, I am reducing myself from a throbbing, vibrating, living, animate object into a piece of stone or a pot of clay or a piece of timber. Is that what spirituality is? I don't want it. So I must know in practice what does it mean to get rid of all desire. Atmani eva atmana tushta. The first quarter of the second line. What does it mean? Your desire should now be totally diverted from the world to your own self. I am. Who am I? I am the Atman. I am Satchidananda Swarupam. I am Nitya. I am Buddha. I am the Buddha Suddha Mukta Svabhavavan Atma. That is what I am. My capacity to feel happy, my capacity to feel satiated, my capacity to fulfill my happiness, fulfilling my desire is there, but it rotates around my true original nature. Atmani eva atmana tushta. In the true sense of yourself, not your physical self, not the Jivatma. I am that Purnatma. I am that Paramatma. I am happy. all my desire to satisfy myself rotates around the awareness of my true original nature. I am not reducing myself into an inanimate object. I am living a highly sensitive life. When we were students, there was a small little equipment known as a galvanometer. I don't know whether the boys today know about it. It could measure the slightest amount of electricity, which other instruments could not. You become like a galvanometer. The slightest amount of worldly desire you can measure. In return, Ananda Swarupata of your Satchidananda saturates you. Atmani eva, Atmana tushta, sthita pragya tada uchyate. When you achieve that state, you can call yourself a sthita pragya purusha. Not to beat your drums in the city. I am a sthita pragya with a loudspeaker and a van. No, it is to assess yourself to what extent you have achieved. To keep you honest, to protect you from hypocrisy, to protect you from self-deception, this is required in spiritual life. Friends, let us read this shloka once again. Don't count the number of shlokas. I do not know how long I will take to teach you these 18 shlokas. But I would like you to remember, hold on to these teachings for your lifetime. Make your spiritual asset of your life and live on that asset. Live on the interest that this asset releases you. Always practicing, I am samadhiban sita pragya. How do I dare myself to call so? Because I have washed myself. I have exposed myself to this world. I have seen around the world of temptation. They are there. those who used to tempt me to death. Those temptations are all there, but they have no effect on me anymore. I have no place in me for them. I am saturated with that divine ecstatic joy, which is my true original nature. Atmani eva atmana tushta. I am totally satiated, satisfied with the joy that is my true original nature. I don't want to look at this. I know what real everlasting joy is. So let me read this shloka, dears, for you once again. And as I keep on telling you, please bear with me. Don't take it as a revision. Read these 18 shlokas as a treasure of your lifetime. Invest your efforts in this treasure and enjoy the fruits thereof, the interest of this wealth, which will enrich you through the process of being and becoming, and a day will come when you will become one with God. Prajahati jada kaman sarvan manogatan. Manogatan sarvan kaman jada prajahati. And how do you fill yourself up? You have emptied yourself. How do you fill yourself up? Atmani eva atmana tushta. You are totally satiated, satisfied, full of happiness by knowing your true original nature. And that satisfies you. There is no space left for anything else in your heart. When you reach that stage, you are worthy of being called a sthita prajna. That is the definition of a sthita prajna, the first definition. Thank you, dears. Thank you ever so much. Thanks for your patience. And please bear with me. This is a lifelong study for all of us. Remember throughout your life and try to put it into practice. Thank you, dears. Till we meet again.
Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna